I struggled with ZITS. Now, I'm not saying I had the worst acne the world has ever seen, but it felt bad enough to me. It was the first thing I noticed in the morning and the last thing before bed. It was the first thing I'd look for in pictures of myself. I got in the habit of covering my mouth when I laughed, afraid that my smile would bring attention to the zits on my chin. I couldn't even take a compliment without it being a diss on my skin. If someone said, "You have such pretty eyes," I'd say, "Well, they're saying that because my skin's so horrible." Acne consistently loomed very large in my life and in my sense of self. And on some days, it was like this. But acne didn't just consume my focus, it consumed my time, my money, my effort, creams, treatments, doctors. This went on for more than a decade. It finally hit me one night when I was with my fiance. In the beginning, I tried to hide the zits from him, but over time I'd gotten more comfortable. So this night I was kvetching about my zits, and he very sweetly tried to suggest some things I could try. And I thought, holy smokes. Now even my fiance is talking about my zits. And I thought, that's it. I'm done. I have waited 10 years for clear skin. I don't care if I have 1 square inch of clear skin on my forehead. I am going to love it like no clear skin has ever been loved before. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to adore it. I'm going to dress it up. I made a conscious choice to start loving what I could love about my skin and forgetting the rest. The biggest part of this decision actually came into play with the mirror. I realized every time I passed a reflective surface, the first thing I looked for were zits, and the second thing I did was scrutinize them. Were they bigger? Were they smaller? In order to forget about zits, I had to change this. I essentially had to train myself, instead of walking right up to a mirror and looking right at the zits, to stop myself, look at the clear skin, and move on. I like charts. So here's a chart of my mirror time. The time I spent looking at my zits in red versus the things that made me feel beautiful in blue. As you can see, in the beginning, I spent a lot of time in the mirror on the zits. But over time, as I made this choice, I spent more and more time looking at my pretty parts. And interestingly, I started spending less time in the mirror overall. Until finally one day, my fiance said to me, "You know, your skin has been really clear lately." And he was right. All of my zits were gone. That was right about here. I don't know when my skin actually cleared, because for me, I had been seeing clear skin for a while. So I thought, holy smokes, I changed a decade worth of acne by changing the way I looked at myself in the mirror? So I started to wonder, what do other women look at in the mirror? Especially my friends with clear skin, what do they look at? Because what else do you stare at if you don't have zits, right? So I started asking, when you look in the mirror, what do you look at first and why? The answers to me were surprising. One friend said I look at my face first. When I said why, she said, honestly? I said, yeah. She said, because I hate my jawline and I hate my chin. Another said she looks at the dark circles under her eyes and has since she was a little girl. Another said I look at my face first because I can't stand to look at the rest of my body. Another said all she sees is her thinning hair, and it brought her to tears to tell me about it. Even women who told me that they can first look at positive parts, and there were a few, described phases in their lives that lasted years when they first looked at their most hated parts in the mirror. These answers amazed me because I had never noticed these things about these women. And they felt the same way. When one friend said, the first thing I see is my stomach pooch, and I said, well, I saw my acne, she said, but Katie, I never noticed any acne. I only ever noticed your flat stomach. This most intimate relationship between ourselves and our self-perception takes place multiple times a day. And yet, even those closest to us in our own lives may have no idea what we're saying to ourselves here. Do you know what your daughter says to herself when she looks in the mirror? Your mom? Your best friend? The relationship between focus and appreciation is not a new concept. This is what Dennis Prager calls the missing tile syndrome. This is The Secret. This is Esther and Jerry Hicks' The Law of Attraction. I had read these things before, but they never really clicked for me until I realized what I was doing in the mirror. Because I thought, I am focusing, I am appreciating, and I still have ZITS. Well, I was focusing, but I was not appreciating. Instead, I was doing two things over and over again. The first was mistaking optimism for appreciation. Perhaps this sounds familiar. I know this cream is going to work. My skin's already looking better. I am so excited for the clear skin I know I'm going to have. I guess I figured I could just will the zits away by being really, really happy about them. But in reality, I was just still focusing on the zits, still focusing on what I didn't want to see. I realized that appreciation feels good right now. It's not forcing myself to feel happy about something that I'm just really not happy about. It feels good easily, right where it is. Which brings me to the next thing I was doing. I could appreciate my face as long as it was improving. I appreciate that my skin looks better today than it did yesterday. But what is that? That's scrutinizing my face on an hourly basis, looking for the things I don't like, hoping to see something I will. I realize that appreciation is in the present moment. It's not waiting for something to get closer to my ideal. It's loving things as they are, right where they are. Do you want to know what I look at? What I appreciate when I look in the mirror? Stuff like this. If you notice, it has nothing to do with the status of my zits. Half of them don't even have anything to do with my body. Do I still get a zit from time to time? A zit? Yeah. But after several days of saying to myself, oh my God, I'm so bloated, is it really a surprise that I get a zit? Really? And yet, when I look around and see things I appreciate, I see things I appreciate in myself and elsewhere. In the beginning of this presentation, I said I struggled with acne, and that's accurate. I fought it and fought it. But it wasn't until I let it all go and spent time liking other things that it went away. Once my focus and appreciation moved on, my body did too. We live in a place where a lot of what we experience repeatedly tells us that we need improvement. The healthcare industry, the beauty industry, the food industry, all told me things I should do for clear skin, and believe me, I did them. All of these things are meant to help, but they really just kept my focus on my flaws. And I believe that's how I kept my acne, by focusing on my flawed face. You might say, well, Katie, don't we need to change these things? Don't we need to fix these things about our culture? But maybe these are like zits. And in that case, I don't want to focus on them at all. I would like to focus on what I enjoy, what makes me happy, what makes you happy. What do you like about these presentations? What are you looking forward to? And when you look in the mirror, what do you look at? And what do you choose to see?